Thank you. All right, great timing. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the January 8th meeting of the Parks and Community Services Commission. I call this meeting to order at exactly 6 o'clock. To begin, let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Kamala has offered to do it. Thank you, Commissioner. Ms. Fatua, the roll call.
Let the record reflect all commissioners are present except for Vice Chair Wright.
Thank you. To begin, we will start with public comments for items not listed on the agenda. Seeing no one in the council chambers, Ms. Fatua, is there anyone online?
There are currently no members of the public on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. And now we roll into commissioner comments and suggestions. Commissioner Dorn Parker, I'd like to begin with you.
Yes. Actually, I do have quite a bit to say tonight about a topic that might surprise you. It's not pickleballs or dogs off leash, believe it or not. I'm really focused in on the amazing and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to explore badly needed open space. We have Fairview Development Center and adjacent to the golf courses the city owns. And I believe we need to have a larger discussion about opportunities these two maturation presents and how we can maintain public golf courses, but for all golfers. And I just need to be clear, I'm a really lousy golfer, but I love it. I golf with women, and some serious golfers over the years have called us the Hit and Giggle Brigade because we just love to play golf and be out there. We're less worried about par. We're less worried about, though we do lose a lot of balls, but hitting in other places. But we just love to play golf and be out there. And I don't really take offense when these people call us the Hit and Giggle Brigade because everyone's out there trying to enjoy golf. But we all need to realize that many try golf or stay lousy golfers like me and need public courses that are 9 holes, not 18 holes, and offer an alternative. We have in the city of Costa Mesa Public Golf, this Los Lagos, which is an amazing golf course. I have tried to play it. I've played it often. It's beautiful. It's very well designed. And it's for people who really do golf well or in the process of doing golf well. But in my viewpoint, this is where I'm coming from. How do we have equal access, equal opportunity for a style of golf that is clearly missing right now in the city by keeping 2 18-hole courses? How do we look at this opportunity of this wide open 2 golf courses next to Fairview Development, the need for housing and the need for large spaces that's open for the community, us and the surrounding community? Since 8 or 9 holes of the other course, which is called Mesa Linda, it's a fine course. It just can't compete with Los Lagos. Really has to be already reimagined and rebuilt because the egress access required by all that housing has to be addressed. So you're already chewing it up. You're always figuring it out. People keep saying, well, you can just have a road through the middle of the golf course. I'm going to tell you, no, you can't. I mean, if you have to, you have to, but we really need to reimagine that space. But what shocked and truly disgusted me, and I have to tell you, when I saw there was an agreement from the majority city majority that made it so no one could have this discussion, take it off the table to look at anything, not collect data, not to look at the opportunities, but I think as a PACS commissioner, that's part of my job. So I'm going to ask for the commission to bring it up and in our advisory role to open that discussion, to gather the data that's needed and see how we can build more housing density if we remove the green space, which is really pocket-style parking, and analyze that large swatch of open space by recommitting 9 holes of that course to that open space for everyone. This means we will offer a less expensive, shorter, less timed public course. These used to be named I named them my old lady courses before I was an old lady. These are sorely missing in our community. Most of them have been plowed under and developed. There is no old lady courses, no fun little 9-unit courses where you can bring my 5-year-old grandson to learn how to play golf. There's not available. But this means we can look to maximizing the housing. Knowing the need for green open space can be switched to this park, field, playgrounds. Heck, we can probably even add, pickleball courts. But we can add lighting to make sure it's a fully used space. There is the fastest growing sports in youth right now that I was able to look at. It's flag football for kiddos. Girls, boys, 5 years old to 18 years old. That Jack Hammond field and every field in Newport Mesa is just filled to the brim, and they have waiting lists. That's 5,000 kiddos with a 1,000 kiddo wait list. It's so exciting to see flag football. It's going to be an Olympic sport, flag football and the NFL men are going to be playing it as well as women. We also have maxed out our soccer spaces, baseball, softball, and if you go to not the high level, but there's not enough space for field hockey, lacrosse. And you're also not just talking about game, you're talking about space to practice. And this is not just for organized youth sports, but it's for adults. We have a lot that the city has done with community service to bring adults in to adult organized sports, which is so healthy, and we need to continue that. What I'm proposing is we request data for gross revenue, number of participants by course. Each course has a different fee schedule, and how many play by category. So, depending on the time of day and the day of the week, you take a different revenue stream in. Then also to talk about the expenses. I know it grosses, I keep hearing about $3 million, but what is the net? We know golf courses are very expensive. It doesn't mean you don't invest in that expense for recreation, but you need to know what is that investment. So we have the net value to understand what happens if we lose 9 holes. But once the data details are returned to us and the city council, if they like, then we are in a position with the CIP and fee structure that we're going to be really digging in on so that we can examine in the near future to better know how we can charge fees, how do we create much needed space, what is that going to cost. Much of this can be burdened by our developers. And so the city doesn't have to do the start, they'll just have to maintain it, which is expensive, and we have to realize that. And I acknowledge the growing of tearing down the courses for housing development actually can increase the housing, increase the ability to move in and out of that space, both by car and by bike and by walking. And we need to and should continue to offer this golf to our community and others in the surrounding communities. But does it have to be the golf that has been here for 50, 60, 70 years? How do we make golf more accessible, more available, and more open to those who are going to try the sport and maybe stick with it? But now, even to understand how a great solution can be had for youth sports with thousands of kiddos needing space for practicing games is disingenuous if our leaders are claiming that they are the #1 supporter of youth sports, but not even allowing conversations or data to be collected. So my humble opinion, to use the power of the majority to shut down critical conversations about housing, green space, fields, smack dab of what we voters in Costa Mesa ousted in what I refer to as the Righeimer regime. The clear majority of the city decided that it is not how we expect our elected leaders to decide the quality of our life here in the city. I personally worked very hard, and I continue to work very hard to make sure every resident's voice is heard. Even when the work is hard, it takes compromise, and fulfilling the needs of today's and tomorrow's quality of life through our assets is what is required. So I'm asking tonight to see, not right now, but as we have more discussion, if there's a consensus on the PACS Commission, we can't take a vote, it's not on the agenda, to agree that we should open the discussion about how do we utilize what is before us, which is a once really in 2-generation opportunity, that I don't want to allow that discussion to be shut down. So those are my comments tonight.
Thank you very much for those thoughtful comments. I've taken notes. We will have the official notes. And as others have their opening comments, feel free to address And we can perhaps think about agendizing this for a future conversation.
Okay, great.
Commissioner Kamala.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year. Liz, I feel like, I'm at that stage of life where you're speaking to me. Just enrolled my oldest son in flag football. So you're preaching to the choir. But welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year. Nothing too much for me. I think Brentwood Park, we have a groundbreaking tomorrow at 3 p.m. So super excited about that. And went by there today to kind of see the progress. And it is gone, the old play structure. So just great work to everybody, and thank you, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Commissioner Ledger.
I don't like following Commissioner Dorn Parker after that, but no, I will say, though I despise golf, I do agree with her on all of that. And so we should discuss that at a future meeting.
Great. Commissioner Hewson.
Hello, everybody. I also will second Commissioner Kamala. I just signed my sign up for flag football too. So, anyways, I appreciate all those comments, and yeah, just a quick reflection, because I'm coming up on my 1 year mark here, and so when I first started, I was excited about it, but I really had no idea what a Parks Commission did. But anyways, I've really enjoyed my time here, and continue to get fired up on topics that I think I otherwise wouldn't have known. And so a big thank you to the other commissioners, because I learn a lot about what it is we do and even what's possible, and also to the staff too. And it's great to know that there's people that love the city as much as I do.
Thank you. Commissioner Garcia Arcos.
Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome back. Before I start my comments, I think Dorn Parker, Commissioner, I agree, and I think we should all realize that together we're able to move things forward. I don't know how this would be possible, but I think that these are the conversations we should have in these open spaces, because this is the only time we can all meet up together. So if you feel led to continue this conversation, which I completely agree, I've never played golf, and I don't see any of the youth members that I'm personally, I know, have ever played that sport. And it's an open opportunity and an alternative to staying out of trouble, or just, just learning something new. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. So we've been really busy with the community. We were able to get together with our director, Grunner, and Brock. And so we walked with the community and kind of explained to them about what's going on with Shalimar Park, and informing them of what to expect and how we're going to move forward with outreach, and being more intentional with the outreach too. Not just handing out flyers, but leaning on the community to introduce these city staff, and being more consistent, with our people and our community. So that was really exciting, and I know we're gonna have a follow-up meeting pretty soon. So really excited to collaborate and help in any way that we can. I know that the moms are already really excited about that. So following up with that, we had 2 posadas. Posada is a celebration that we bring from culture. We did a posada/toy giveaway, and then we had for the first posada in Shalimar, we had close to 300 people attending. We brought back culture, tradition, and joy to the children and parents. We had traditional dancing. It was folklore dancing, which are elderly women that go and showcase this beautiful dance with their dresses, and they want to keep the culture alive, so they do this for free. So if you have an event and you want this on your event, please let me know, and I can connect you with Yolanda, who is leading that. We also had another tradition that not a lot of people know about. It's Tlacoleros. This originated from Guerrero, and so it's a dance to be able to scare the tigers away because of the harvests. When they have good harvests, they dance to the gods, and this is ancient time, and it's really nice to see something like that, to bring back community, and it was beautiful to see that. We also had free pupusas, pozole, and tacos that were able to feed over 300 people. And we had 3 piñatas. One were for the moms to, release everything they've had and get that stick and just break the piñata. It was nice. I wish I should have sent out the video. It would have been nice to, maybe next meeting I'll be able to put that together. I'll put that on the list. But yeah, we had a lot of childhood games. So this was a safe space for all of us to get together. So we had childhood games that the moms actually suggested from their childhood. That was really nice. And then traditional music and a lot of resources. We partnered up with Core CDC, who donated a big screen TV that was for a raffle for the moms. We, for that event specifically, it was $3,000 worth of toys just for the kids and about $1,000 raffles for the moms. And then Canopy Church came out and helped out with 12 tables and 130 chairs. So that was really nice. And then we had another posada similar to this, but without the dancing, because we didn't have enough space. But that was really nice. It was in Paularino, so it wasn't even in our district. So that was really nice. And around 80 people attended, had piñatas and Play-Doh stations. They had a jumper and just a lot of things. We were able to organize and raise $1,500 worth of toys for the kids, and that was really nice to see. That was that was really nice because you see the impact that you do immediately, in the smile of the children, of the parents, and it's a safe space. Right now we're very vulnerable, and you may not see it because you're not in those shoes. I personally have witnessed a lot of things, and our ICE has actually walked through our streets. We have a community group chat that we actually warn people about this. City staff were actually in that group chat, so I really appreciate their contribution. But yeah, if I encourage you to reach out, because we have a lot of community leaders in different areas of the city, Spanish speakers, and I know that they would really enjoy. Wow, that was a lot, sorry. But it's really exciting. So thank you all.
Thank you, Commissioner, for those updates. And I appreciate them because what year are we in? 2026. I think it's begun as a challenging moment for a lot of people, and I appreciate the reference to ICE and what's happening nationally. So I think that there is a lot that people are grappling with right now, and just wanted to acknowledge that. I want to say that had a good time going to Snoopy House. It felt grander than in previous years, bigger, more complex, seemed like really great turnout. So I want to say kudos to staff. I know it's a lot of work to put that on. Really excited to see how it's grown. And so as I was walking through with some commissioners from other commissions, we were just noting some of the things that work really well and also some opportunities too. Like I think that with the art station, for example, I love that we're displaying art from children, wondering how, areas like that could grow in the future. So I think some of us are interested in talking through that. I know it's more participation, more growth, but I think we have something really special. So how do we keep moving that forward is something that's on my mind. I also last month had the opportunity to go to an event called an Intentional Neighborhood Gathering, put on by Trellis and Love Costa Mesa. And at this gathering, it was a neighborhood gathering held at someone's house with really delicious food. And they invite leaders from around Costa Mesa to come and speak. And last month was one of our beloved commissioners, Commissioner Garcia Arcos, talking about his journey. And just wanted to say kudos to you. It was inspiring. And it was also one of those moments where I see what's happening in the city in terms of at the very local level and how people are coming together across all different kinds of interests in order to share perspectives, to share opportunities, and to share a meal. And it was inspiring. So kudos to you and thank you for that, for your leadership. Commissioner Dorn Parker, I take many of your points. And one thing I would like to share is that Vice Chair Wright and I would say in the early fall, we started writing memos in our voice, just from the vice chair and I, to city council with updates on what we discuss in these commission meetings. And in them, we include our recommendations for action items. And so I took all of that and processing it, we'll check in with vice chair. And also, it's something that we will pursue with city staff as we're thinking about agenda items and how it might align with particular conversations around, let's say, the fees in our city. So we'll figure out what makes sense. And if individual commissioners have opinions, encourage you to reach out to city staff so that they can facilitate a more engaged conversation around that outside of this meeting. Lastly is just a plea to the commissioners, but also to folks in the city who would like to turn out to our meeting. We will be having a preliminary conversation about the CIP process. We don't actually officially weigh in on that with recommendations until later in this quarter, if you will. But we are hoping to next month have a preliminary conversation where we're looking at the CIP and beginning to talk about process. What does it look like? How can we think about priorities? And so I would just like to take a minute to encourage you in the next month to revisit the values that we worked on so hard and that we voted on. Revisit that and think about what those values say to you in terms of what you see as our needs and priorities for the city. Talk to your people. Talk to people, talk to them, especially as it concerns how those values and those funding priorities intersect, and come prepared so that even though it's a preliminary conversation, the more that we can do to prepare, the better, the further along we'll be. I mean, I'll be up front. One of the travels that I did over the break was up to Oakland, which is my old neighborhood, and I went to my actual old neighborhood and saw, and high density is probably an accurate way of putting that neighborhood. They did some amazing things. So they did a community garden there. And this was property owners giving up some of their property to create community gardens. They had amazing signage. They had amazing murals. And by amazing, it's not like it was, it was artistic, but it was something that the community did. They had murals on the fences, and it's a liquor store that allowed their fence to be painted on, right? Their street was painted as well, and so it was all in line with the garden and gardening. And so it was inspiring. So, I mean, I'll just be upfront. We have over 200 people on a wait list for gardens in the city. And for me, gardens align with at least 3 of our values. So that's something that I'm going to be excited to come and talk about. And so that's just one example. We can all bring as many ideas as we want, and we're making recommendations as a reminder. We're not city council. We're not the ones who ultimately have the vote, but we are the ones who are making the recommendations. So if we don't have recommendations will be made for us. All right, so just a plea to come ready to do that. And with that, I think we are done with commissioner comments. Looking at the consent calendar and seeing no members of the public, is there anyone online?
No one at this time.
Are there any commissioner comments and/or questions, or can I get a motion to receive and file?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
You may vote on the dais.
It's not working for me. I'm voting yes, though.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. My mic also cannot go off, so I will just be careful not to talk when others are talking, which I can do. Monthly reports, Director Gruner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, Commissioners. It's great to see everybody. I know we had quite a long break here, so I'm glad to see everybody back, and happy 2026. So I can't believe it's already 2026, but here we go. It's going to be a great year. There's going to be a lot of things ahead of us, but in the meantime, I want to just kind of recap the fall and the winter, programming that we have conducted. And I don't see my presentation. And here we go. For some reason, there's always that lag.
There's always a
notice
lag with
it
us,
comes
yeah.
up there first, and then it comes here. So, all right, here we go. Actually, skip that. Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to start off with the Senior Center highlights. They do some really fabulous programming over there. For example, we have the Thanksgiving lunch. That's always a great turnout and success, just by bringing in, seniors and interacting with, various individuals. We also do a breakfast with Santa, and this year we had the fire department come in and they were serving the breakfast. And that's always just a tremendous hit, just seeing the men and women in uniform and serving, food to the seniors is always a joyous moment. So that's really cool. Down here, just a few pictures. We have the card club making class and, individuals playing some pool. That seems to be a really popular thing to do down there at the Senior Center, which is great. Moving on to the adult basketball highlights. Wednesday night, we had a great turnout. We had 8 teams, about almost 100 players participate, and this is for the adults. And we try to continue, building that program, and we're looking to add some teams on Monday night, so kind of expanding that. But just a lot of fun watching them go out there and, pretend they're still 14 or 15 and in high school and playing some basketball. But it's great. Some really good players out there and, members from the community. So it's just a great way to get together and network and have some fun. The next up is going to be our youth program highlights. The first picture you see on the left there is our joint program with the Unified School District, where we actually have them bring in kids and we offer free swimming lessons. We kicked things off last spring, and it's been a very tremendously successful event. And we did it again this fall. So we had about 35 kids participate, and we're looking to kind of rotate it amongst the different schools, so that way, we capture as many schools as possible throughout the year, and we'll do that again in the springtime. Down below on the left, you'll see the dodgeball challenge against teens. It's our police officers coming out, playing dodgeball against, some of our teens that participated. But we had about 50 kids come out. It's just a really fun moment for them to interact with our police officers and get to know them get to know them a little bit and just have some fun, laughters. They did kind of switch it up at the end where the police officers kind of divided and went on one side and the other side as the kids were getting a little pummeled by the police officers. They couldn't quite hang. But it was a lot of fun. Nobody got hurt, and everybody had just a really good time. And just some other pictures from some of the other events that we had. Some contests where, for the kids were champions, and then just our swimming program down below, having some fun in the pool. And then additionally, we have some programs for our younger kids. On the left there, you'll see the pickleball program, which has been a tremendous success, where they go over to the downtown recreation center. It's indoors, and we set up some portable nets, and they just come out there and really have a great time, and they learn how to play pickleball. So that's been really, really successful for us. And the LEAP program holiday party, we had about 27 kids attend that, and that's with our current LEAP program that we have over at Billeric. And so it's just a nice little turnout. The winter camp, Costa Mesa, which is during the break, and basically it's been pretty much sold out both weeks at about 46 to 50 kids. So that was really neat to see. I had a chance to actually go over there and just kind of take a look, and the kids are just engaged, playing outdoors, having fun, activities, and they come inside and either watch a movie or they do a little excursion where we take them to a different playground, a different area. And then we have the BFIT, I talked about the BFIT pickleball program already. And so about 60 kids participated in that, and that's for first grade through 8th grade. And then, of course, we have Snoopy House, which has been a tremendous hit. And thank you, Chair Brown, that acknowledgement. That program has definitely grown over the years, and it's just really expanded. I think on one night we had almost like 1,000 people come out, and so it's just a really good turnout to bring the community together, to engage the younger kids, and get them familiar, obviously, with Snoopy, but also the different programs, arts that we can provide, music, and of course, who can forget snow sledding. Ferry Park highlights. So we have the volunteer program, and I'll get into the opportunities for volunteering at the end of my presentation here. But it's just it continues to grow. We have up to 25, 30 people now, registered, and they're coming out. They're doing some of the restoration work, pulling weeds. And it's just great to have that camaraderie and have that many, participants come out and help us, in restoring Fairview Park. And of course, I just want to mention again, especially during the holiday time frame, it tends to be a very lonely time for a lot of people if they don't have, family around anymore as much, and especially as we get older. So it's just important that we do offer a year-round, no-cost mental health service to our seniors, age 50 and older. If you know somebody who could, benefit from this, please, call us or come down to the Senior Center directly. The phone number is 714-327-7550. And I want to mention a few upcoming events. Typically, January, February is a little bit slower for us, which is nice, where we can kind of recalibrate and get ready for the spring and the summer time frame. But we do have some upcoming programs. The B-Fit basketball, which is similar to the B-Fit pickleball, except now it's basketball. I know that the C division for the first and third graders is pretty much already full. We do have some openings in the A division and B division, and it's at 6:30. I'm sorry, it starts at 5:30, and it ends at 8:30 depending on the division. It's Tuesday and Thursdays, so if you know anybody who will, be interested in that, please, share this information, and that's at the Downtown Recreation Center. And then we have our All Abilities Resource Fair coming up, February 28th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that's another great program and service that we offer to the community, where we can get, people can get familiar with different resources for, various, disabilities and so forth, that can, greatly benefit from that. And then just going back to the Fairview Park Restoration Volunteer event, Fairview Fridays is every other Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then Thursday, we have the native gardening from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And the second Saturday, Restoration Day, and then the third Saturday, Restoration Day as well. All this information is available on our website, or give us a call, and we'd be happy to, get you involved. A couple other things I just want to mention. Yes, the Brentwood Park groundbreaking ceremony is tomorrow at 3 p.m. We do encourage people to come out and attend it. It's one of our first parks that's going to be renovated, and we're all very, very excited for it. So hopefully you can come out and participate and be a part of it. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Director. Seeing no members of the public in the chambers, is there anyone online yet?
None at this time.
Okay. Are there any commissioner comments, questions for Director Gruner?
The only thing I want to comment, which is a big kudos to the city, this took a lot of work to coordinate the swim lessons. That we have so many children in our community, they have no access to learn how to swim. So I really want to thank the city and Brian, your leadership and your team, to utilize our resources, work with Newport Mesa, and I know Soy's also involved, that this makes a significant difference, not just in drownings, but the ability of these children to then participate in swim teams and water polo and surfing and be safe in the water. So this is a big deal, and I know there's an expansion. And my other role, overseeing, Coast District, there's a big aquatic park there, so I know you've been working also with the team over at OCC, because the more we combine and utilize our resources for all the kids, but this is a big deal, and it's a big deal to me. As she wouldn't be embarrassed to say, but even our president of OCC grew up in East LA. She does not know how to swim. So she is hoping to open up the aquatic center so she can learn how to swim. And maybe the city can be part of that, teaching adults how to swim. So I just want to recognize that. This is a big deal, so thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'm okay. I've lost all control of my computer, but I will work off of my laptop. So we're fine. Other commissioner comments, questions? Commissioner Garcia Arcos.
Yeah, thanks to city staff for doing all of this. And I don't know how you find more time to do more. So I think, bringing forward any agenda items that we have or anybody else, we have to be mindful with all the things you guys are already doing. I will be mindful to when I set up the next meeting that we have. And I think that's a really good comment. If we can have adults learn how to swim, I think that's something that, at least from my experience, we have like an embarrassment to even say that. Like, we're really embarrassed to bring that up. Maybe an open space where we can learn how to use a bicycle, for adults. Safe space for adults to learn these activities. Yeah, cool. Well, I did want to ask a question about this here for the senior center services. For the mental health service, is there a date, like a due date where they can't access that? Is it all year round?
No, it is pretty much year round. So it's available anytime that we're open. Just have to contact us. We'll get you in contact with our social services individual, and yeah, they can get started with the program.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments or questions? Okay, thank you, Director. Seeing no old new business, we will move to new business item number 1, the donation of a memorial bench and plaque at Fairview. Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Chair Brown. Good evening. Happy New Year to everyone. The next item before you is a request to receive a donation of a memorial bench and plaque to be installed at Fairview Park. The city received a request from the Fenley family. It's included in your packet as attachment 1, requesting permission from this commission to donate a memorial bench and plaque in memory of Ryan Fenley, who passed away in June of 2024. The bench and plaque, as I mentioned, would be installed at Fairview Park. You can see from the letter that Ryan grew up in Costa Mesa. He lived in the state streets, attended California Elementary and Tewinkle Middle School, and graduated from Estancia High School. One of his first jobs was working at Costa Mesa Golf Course as a teenager, where he'd pick up range balls at night. Later in life, he enjoyed golfing there with his childhood friends every Saturday. He loved the Mesa Verde area, and he and his wife Pam purchased their first home in that same area. Ryan is survived by his wife Pam and their 2 sons, Carter and Colby, who reside in the upper bird areas. They chose Fairview Park as they spent many evenings there. It was practically in their backyard, living in the upper bird areas, walking the bluffs with their dogs, enjoying the sunsets and beautiful surroundings of that park. The bench would serve as a great place to gather and share stories with memories of their family and friends who all still reside in that area. After reviewing a few options, the family and staff agreed that the most suitable location for the bench would be on the east side of the park. The west side of the park near the lawn area, as you can see depicted by the yellow rectangle in the photo. This area that in maintenance referred to as the triangle. It's south of the restrooms and covered picnic area and just east of the very end of the parking lot. There's a split of 2 asphalt paths right next to there. And you can see the restroom in the picture on the right, and then if you're looking at the picture on the left, the bluffs is kind of straight ahead from that location. The sample photo of the bench and representation of how the plaque would be installed. The bench is made of a recycled plastic, which is made to look a little bit like lumber, a little bit more natural, yet durable material that kind of blends in. So staff has reviewed the suggested location, determined that it's suitable for the donated items. The request was presented to the Fairview Park Steering Committee on December 10th to receive feedback and input from them. My understanding from that meeting is that the discussion centered around general policy and procedures. There was no concerns about the bench or the location that were shared. The installation will have minimal fiscal impact on the city, as the donor will incur the cost of all the donated items. We'll just provide the installation services for both. The request does meet the requirements as set forth in the City Council policy that's included in your packet as attachment 2. Therefore, it's recommended the Commission approve the request from the Fenley family for the donation of the bench in memory of Ryan Fenley. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan, and I just want to thank the Fenley family for their offer of donation. I really appreciate that, and think it's important that they'll have a space to remember their loved one. I'm going to start with public comment in case we have any. Seeing no one in the chambers, is there anyone online?
No one at this time.
Thank you. I have a quick question, a follow-up to the Fairview Park Steering Committee. Can we have a synthesis of what their discussion was in terms of the policies and procedures? I think I would like to know just a general sense of what that was about.
Well, it was generally the process, just a clarification of what the process is and what the next steps were. So it was a very brief dialogue, and basically just explaining to them that, we wanted to bring it forward to the steering committee first before it goes to the PACs. Just to make sure or ensure, since they're a steering committee of Fairview Park, that they have that they know about it, number one, and if they had any concerns about it, then we can, certainly address it. But ultimately, the decision is with the PACs Commission. It's not necessarily with the steering committee, so it's more of a courtesy, and that was really about it.
But what I'm trying to understand, what was their concern or their question around the procedure? Were they asking why did it come to them and then to us, or did they have more substantial questions or concerns or about how benches are approved?
Yeah, it was more a general clarification, because I think in years past, it didn't necessarily go to them first.
Right.
And I believe there was some controversial tree
Right.
or bench a few years
Yep.
ago. So,
Yep.
so I think it was more a clarification for them to have a better understanding that we're going to try, as staff, going to try to make an effort to bring it to them first, so that doesn't happen again in the future.
Great, I appreciate that. Okay. Commissioner comments, questions? Anything on this side? Commissioner Garcia Arcos.
Have we in the city ever installed a wooden bench?
I would imagine it's been some time since we've installed a wooden bench. I think those have largely kind of gone away for a time period. Something that may be coming back in the future, but not recently, not in my time.
Okay, and my follow-up question to that was, what are the prices for, and because it's not recent, maybe you won't know, just right off the top of your head. What is, like in comparison to a plastic, concrete and wooden bench, what does that look like?
I wouldn't have any current pricing on wooden benches. They're not something that's generally used in parks and open spaces around here. I believe that the recycled lumber bunches are, depending on the length, I want to say from $800 to $1,200 each. And similar with the expanded metal ones that are more common throughout our parks.
Mm-hmm. So on average, it's the same cost, would you say?
Between the expanded metal and some of the recycled lumber, roughly the same cost. A little bit difference in maintenance, because the recycled lumber ones, we can replace pieces of lumber, the planks within them. So that does save quite a bit versus the expanded metal where we would have to replace either the entire bench or an entire seat or an entire back if the footing and materials is still salvageable.
Okay, thank you for that. My other question is, would you, as maintenance manager, would you recommend potentially changing it into lumber, just because of all the benefits it brings? And I kind of have a little bit of backing to that written down.
It's something I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to. It's something that probably my largest concern would be the time that it would last. These are memorial benches. We want to make sure that they're going to be there for years to come. I don't see the cost factor being too much of an issue unless they're cost prohibitive, because you have to keep in mind that the donors are have that burden of the cost. So something that's a little bit less expensive makes it open to more individuals. But again, my biggest concern would be the maintenance. We did coincidentally look at some playground options that were all wood, and some of the maintenance requirements for that were very cost prohibitive in terms of a playground. Granted, a bench is much smaller, but I imagine some of those same maintenance practices would apply to a completely wooden bench. So that'd be my biggest, but I'm never opposed to looking at other options.
Would you be able to present to us a kind of like pros and cons to a wooden bench for the following meeting that we have next month?
If that's something that the commission would like to hear more about, it's something I could put together. I don't, we have a couple of larger items that are coming up with the CIPs and the park assessment. So I'd be hesitant to commit to being able to do that next month, but I'm certainly willing to do that in the near future if that's what the commission desires.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so the reason why I bring this up is wood is a biophilic material, which means it supports our innate connection to nature. So studies show that being around nature and natural materials lower blood pressure, reduce stress and anxiety, and promotes relaxation. And if we go back to our guides and values, if you think about it, what is it that we're trying to bring to the city, right? We're trying to make a change. And I understand that there's maintenance, because I did review like the pros and cons on the internet, right? And I would love to hear from staff. But I wanna see how, if we can make this small change, I know that this could be something that can continue for the following benches that are donated. And maybe even ask city council to budget for this too. Remember that there's a lot of benefits to having wooden material. And so, sustainability. This is another note that I have. I'm just going to read out loud. Sustainability, responsibly resourced wood stores carbon. It's a renewable and generally has lower carbon footprint than metal and concrete, contributing to environmental health benefits. Just having these options. So my request here is ask the chair and the commission. I suggest that we postpone voting on this for our next meeting and can be better with more information, as we can see in our core values, and maybe even review those and see how this fits for us. And also involve the community. Have community input here for next month. And I can say that I can bring in at least 10 to 15 people to weigh on this, because it's not only we that make the decision, but we want to bring in the community to also hear from them. You know, we are representing them. So, yeah, I wasn't planning on saying all of this, but yeah, let's lean on on what's best for our city. So, yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Garcia Arcos, a quick question for you. Your concern and your desire to postpone it is not related to the specific donation for Fairview Park. It's really a conversation about the materials related to the bench. Okay. I want to open this up to commissioner comments or questions. One thing I'm wondering though from staff director, is it possible to tentatively approve this agenda item so that the family understands we are in support of their donation, but we need a bit more time to figure out the details of what that exact donation looks like? Is that a possibility, or do we need to make a motion to move this? Should we want to move this to a future agenda item or a future PAX meeting? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly at the commission's discretion. I do want to really emphasize that this has been in the making for almost, well, actually over a year. The individual reached out to us back in, I believe, June of 2024. But with the Fairview Park Master Plan and the different locations that were selected, it kind of really carried on for a very long time. And I do know that it really does mean a lot to the family, and they're looking forward to having the bench installed sooner than later.
Okay, I appreciate that. I think we just got it 4 days ago, however. So I think for public engagement process, your commissioners need more than 4 days for this process. So just want to weigh in. I feel strongly about that.
This is something that would take some time to analyze and get data on. So we're talking several months. And even then, we try to keep donations like to match existing materials in each park. So just sharing that piece of that. They've submitted this request based on a certain cost expectation as well. So that's something that would need to be taken into consideration. And again, as Director Gruner mentioned, this is a family that's been waiting quite some time for this to come forward, and we generally have set standards already in place for benches and for park amenities that we keep similar, just for maintenance purposes and ease of purchases as well. So this would be a big change to make citywide, and would probably take quite a bit of time to initiate that.
I appreciate that. And I do want to be very clear to the family that we're sensitive to how long you've been waiting. And I'm sorry it's taken a year, frankly. That's a very, very long time to wait for a bench and a plaque. But just want to acknowledge to your commissioners here, we need more than 4 days. But I want to open this up to other commissioner comments and questions. So Commissioner Ledger, start with you, work my way down, and then turn this way.
So I do appreciate wanting to stick with the values and everything. Even before Commissioner Brown asked city staff her questions, I disagree with tabling this for later. I feel like it should be voted on tonight, because the family, if they put the time and money into this, they're really hurting from their loss and really want to honor them. And I don't think they should have to wait anymore. So that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kamala.
I agree with Commissioner Ledger, and I appreciate the idea from Commissioner Garcia Arcos, and I think it's something we can explore in the future. But given, not only just the timing, but just the process, just understanding, the materials we have already, I think we should just move forward with the decision on the bench for now. But I would love to explore that. I'm all for finding ways to make things healthy. I just went down a rabbit hole about how sunlight improves longevity. So if sitting on wood will make me live longer, I'm all for it too. So
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Dorn Parker.
Yeah. I'm going to try to phrase this right. So I don't think it's a bad idea for us to review all these kinds of benches, plaques, trees. I'm just figuring out priorities for us as a commission. I don't think this is a priority for the commission beyond, which is greater than fee structure, CIP process. I appreciate Commissioner Garcia Arcos bringing up, because you can't make change unless you throw things against the wall. I do know there's different kinds of wood and some is more modern. I don't feel right not voting on this because we're going to look at something in the future. Because also when you change everything, that means you change everything, which means we have to go back and review benches elsewhere. And because if our sustainability and our creativity and being one with nature, we can't do it halfway. So that's my concern. I like that we've now put this out there and see what kinds of benches. The old wood, and especially around where there's salt air, is a nightmare to maintain without splinters. And then you also have to keep, depending on the wood, varnishing, and that releases toxins into the air. So there's all these layers that I think has to go into this conversation. I think it's a conversation that I appreciate you brought it up, but I'm not sure that's a priority. That's probably in the mix. So when we're looking at different kinds of structures and standardization, sort of like our Chair Brown's conversation about what it is the questions were from the Fairview Park was a lot about just process and structures and how is it going to work, so they go for it. So I'm looking at that. So I think benches is one of a larger conversation. And I appreciate that the city has these kinds of benches because they're easier to maintain. Truthfully, you don't get splinters, and it's, and for this family, and it's just, they got caught in this quagmire, and I know for this family, it would be, and I use this word very specifically, dishonoring their request if we know this is a good spot, this is a bench, we want to honor the family, we want to say yes. I think it would be dishonorable, in my view, if we don't move forward at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any comments down here? Commissioner Houston?
Just briefly, I think I kind of second everybody else that I love the idea of trying to make our parks more healthy and exploring that, but considering that there's the practical sides too of maintenance, cost, things like that. So while I think it's a very interesting thing to explore and kind of like Commissioner Dorn Parker said, maybe even like on a wider scale, I guess my opinion would be to vote on tonight and then bring that up at a later time.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that we're having this conversation. That's the whole point of this. And so I agree with everybody. And now that I've heard, I think we should have a conversation about this, not letting it go. It's said right now, okay, how are we going to follow up with it? That's my question now. It's like, okay, I had the opportunity to email West Coast Arborist Street Tree Revival. It's basically John Mahoney's running that. He's the manager there, and he's been able to do benches for other cities. So maybe having a conversation with him about what wood doesn't splinter as much. You know, all these curious questions that might help us from their experience. But I would want to ask the commission, how do we follow up with this? And let's vote on the bench now, but how do we bring this up at a later date?
Commissioner Ledger?
Yeah, I would say I would love if we could set a month we want this information to be added to the agenda. I know we have some things coming up, so it may not be in the next 2 months, but if we set a month, just say a month and put it, that's when it should be just looked into by.
Yes, Commissioner Kamala.
I mean, I know city staff's super busy. Is this weird if we all just do our own research and book report school style? I'm down for pulling up recent peer-reviewed study on the health benefits of sitting on wood. Let's do that. I don't know.
I love that idea. I think, so a couple of thoughts. I appreciate all of this feedback that you all are offering, and perhaps we can entertain a motion in a minute. And I also really appreciate Commissioner Garcia-Arcos for bringing this up. So I wanted to just make space to actually talk about it first before deciding what direction we're going. I think that's really important. I think that's public engagement. You got to start there. I would like to know, what do we really want to know from city staff? So that would be something that I would put that on you, on all of us as well. What is it that we want to know? Because I think there's a variety of data points like costs, benefits, all of that we could do some of that on our own before we ask for it. And then I would say, Vice Chair Wright and I can talk about this in one of our agenda prep meetings. So I think we can talk about it there. From where I sit, from what I'm remembering, we're pretty busy until May. Like, this is a very light month, but otherwise we are pretty busy until May. So maybe this is something for us to consider in the summer. As we're learning about what's going on with rec, maybe that this is something that we could discuss then. So I'm not committing any of us to that, but I am just from where I sit, I feel like we're booked through April fairly solidly. Does that sound okay? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to think on it, talk on it. You'll think about what you want to know, and then Vice Chair Wright and I can follow up. Okay, thank you all. Does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
You may vote on your dais.
I vote yes.
Motion carries 6-0 to approve the donation memorial bench and plaque at Fairview Park.
Thank you. And Mr. Ryan, will you please let the family know that we are really glad to approve this request. We're really excited for it to live in Fairview Park.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you. Are there any additional commission comments? I'm going to start down here.
Yeah, thanks.
Commission.
Just briefly,
Commissioner
and I
Houston.
don't mean to get us too off track, but Mr. Ryan had brought up the comment about playground equipment, and so, I have a 3- and a 5-year-old, and so I'm very active at all these parks right now, and I kind of, as the commissioner now, I'm always thinking about playground equipment, et cetera, plus we have the CIP coming up. So my question was, I'm looking for just a wide range. Can you give me a wide range, price point wise, what we're looking at when we add playground equipment? I mean, is that even possible to say? Like, because you were talking about, anyways, there was mention about playground equipment, and so is that even something you're able to quantify? In other words, the cost of new playground equipment is X to Y, some range?
Commissioner Houston, are you referring to like wooden playground equipment versus?
No, sorry.
Or
I'm
just
getting off
generally
the wood.
speaking?
Generally speaking, yeah, because I mean, I think my read of the room was that we have these preliminary CIPs coming up. In my own mind, I've been thinking about playground equipment, as silly as that sounds, but it's just sort of where I'm at in life. And so I was hoping to just get a sense for, I literally have no idea if it costs $80,000 or $500,000 to do playground equipment at a park. So I was trying to just get a sense from past projects. I mean, what's kind of like a rough price range that the city's looking at?
So it's not something on the agenda, but if the chair would like to indulge, I'd be happy to respond.
I think so. I think this is good setup for a
sorry,
CIP.
I know, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's a good setup for a
I'm
CIP.
going rogue.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So for example, right now we're doing Brentwood Park.
Yes.
That's kind of a little bit larger than your typical just like for like crossover. So that was in the range of about, all told about $300,000. And that's expanding the playground area into that underutilized volleyball area. Typically, we're budgeting about that much for just a like-for-like replacement. Some of your larger projects, like Ketchum Light-Bolt that is coming up, they've started that project as well. Shallow Park, the work there. Those are complete renovations, changing everything out. Those are in the probably, Sung would know better, but I would say in the 1.1 million to 2.1 million, depending on the project and the size of the park. But that's a general rough estimate. It just depends on the size of the existing playground, what exactly we're doing there. If you're doing something like rubberized surfacing, that cost goes up quite a bit if you're doing all rubberized surfacing versus half and half or 25-75% with like a rubberized surface or mulch fiber.
Okay.
That
No, that helps totally. Okay. I know, sorry to go rogue, and then I have just one more. I know these are funny questions, but sand replacement, that's another thing that I'm seeing just, again, being at parks all the time, is that, there's certain parks that more frequently replace the sand? Is that, can you give me just kind of a general cost, or if that's something that the city takes on or that you have offhand?
So the sand replacement, we've gone back and forth between the sand and the wood fiber. Mainly, we've gone mostly towards a wood fiber material with the rubberized surfacing, mainly because the sand enters the pores of the rubberized surfacing. So over time, the rubberized surfacing has space built into it. It's rubber with a bunch of space into it for some impact absorption. Once the sand starts moving into there, with the kids start running around, they're playing, they're throwing it around, that sand works its way into the rubberized surfacing and makes it, the less forgiving.
Sure.
So over time, that requires us to replace that rubberized material. So that's the biggest thing there. And projects where we leave the sand is generally a cost issue. Removing sand is
Gotcha.
costly.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate you letting me go rogue for a minute.
I think these are great questions. So we're gonna be talking through a lot of this in the CIP. Commissioner Ledger, did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, when we started discussing the wood benches and everything, it really emphasizes why it's important to have so many different personalities on a commission. We all have our different desires and agendas, and hearing everyone's viewpoint really matters. So I appreciate everyone here.
Thank you. Any other comments, thoughts? Commissioner Garcia Arcos.
Yeah, I want to go rogue too. This is it's fun.
Oh boy.
I wanted to ask, what is it?
Madam Chair, if I may interrupt, this is really not like a discussion back and forth dialogue time frame. If there's specific questions, I mean, definitely email to us and we'd be happy to answer it, or we can talk about it a little bit later afterwards.
Do you have a specific comment? I think that I feel like it's fair to make a comment, final comments, and then.
Yeah, I guess it's a comment. I'm not going to ask the question. It would have been way easier to ask the question. Anyways, our 93rd annual conference is coming up. It's April 27th through the 30th. We are having it in the fish camp in Yosemite, and I have been able to participate in putting this together. I'll be part of the Spanish track, which is all of Wednesday. We're having 9 people from Latin America come out. We're flying them out to do presentations on really good information. And we reviewed 73 presentations that were given to us from all over the world, and we were able to choose about 30 for 2 days. So my question, and now it's going to be a comment, I hope that city staff from Costa Mesa can be there. This information is way beyond what we know, and I've learned so much from being involved in this organization. It's called the West Coast, International Society of Arboriculture, and it gives us the ability to ask questions to other city staff. I've met the city arborists from Newport Beach, from Lake Forest. I mean, they're really involved. They're there, and I'm there representing my city, right? But why not city staff? Let's budget for these things. And I mean, it's more of a comment now, but we do have 10 open student scholarships that we'll be able to provide. I've also raised 10 personally, but for Spanish speakers. If any city staff that speak Spanish can sign up, I'll make sure that there's an opportunity there too. So yeah, just looking at different alternatives to improve. We may not personally be doing the trees ourselves. We're overseeing West Coast Arborists, but the intention for this is for us to have a third. Sorry, I can't ask you the question, but I think it's.
But you could follow up via email.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so this is a great opportunity for city staff to get involved in. I would really like to have the city represent, and continue to advocate for more education that will improve our canopy by a lot. So thank you.
Thank you for that.
Can I just make one?
Oh, it
one
does get
reply?
to be
Sorry,
a back and
Director.
forth. I see.
But the city, we do have 4 arborists on staff now. We just added another one on Monday. They're all members of Western Chapter, ISA, Street Tree Seminar, and we do have budgets for them to attend any seminars or discussions they wish to do, and they do. So that gives us an opportunity to interact in a lot of different settings, but I appreciate the comments.
Sounds like a great opportunity. So, cool resource.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing them at the.
Okay, and with that, I just want to announce that our next meeting is on Thursday, February 12th. It will be a very full agenda, so I'm hoping we will get, if we can't, we're going to work hard to get that agenda out so that you all have plenty of time to read it. There will be materials to read, there will be things to think about and prepare, so be sure to be checking your emails. And with that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 7:10 p.m. Thank you all.